Is on the dais, PhD CCI President Sanjeev ji, Civil Aviation Committee Chair Sanjeev Edward ji, Joint Secretary Ministry of Commerce Sirinder Hariwar ji, and my colleague from the Ministry of Civil Aviation, Senior Economic Advisor Piyush Srivastava ji, other distinguished members of the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Honorable Excellency and diplomats from other countries, and esteemed guests and industry leaders and media members. I'm very happy to be participating in the 10th edition of PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry on the summit which is being held on the civil aviation sector. It is the 10th edition. Like our Piyush was telling, it is a double-digit number and a very solid number. So that expresses the commitment PhD has been showing for the last 10 summits in the area of civil aviation industry. So I extremely thank them from the ministry also for continuously keeping the progress up and trying to involve the industry and do a progressive movement in the civil aviation. So I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry for organizing this summit, bringing together the experts and stakeholders from the aviation, air cargo sectors and other verticals of civil aviation. And as we gather today for this summit, it stands as a testament for PhD CCI's unwavering commitment for fostering dialogue, collaboration and innovation within the industry. And by working together, all of us, we can address the challenge, seize opportunities and ensure sustainable development of the aviation industry. If you look at the aviation industry today, it might look a little bit repetitive, but one thing I want to tell from that point of view is that all the dignitaries who are sitting here are speaking the same language. That is an assurance and confidence to the people that are here that we are not moving in different directions. If you are trying to speak the same point again and again, it is to bolster the confidence of the industry that we are all committed and ensuring that we are all on the same path and same frequency. So if you compare the Indian aviation sector today, it is at transformative crossroads marked by rapid growth and forward-looking vision under the leadership of dynamic Prime Minister Honorable Narendra Modi ji. As one of the fastest growing aviation sectors in the world, India has witnessed a remarkable change in passenger traffic, cargo movement and overall connectivity in the last 10 years. And one testament for that growth has been the increase in the number of airports. In 2014, we had 74 airports. And right now we have a staggering number of 157 airports, which would have been totally unbelievable to think of in 2014 had we just set the number. But we have achieved it. And if you look at the domestic air passenger growth, it has risen up to from 67 million in 2014 to up to 152 million in 2023. And the fleet size, which was around the size of 400 flights for the Indian carriers in 2014, it has more than 700, and we are the highest orders we have in the market today to the tune of 1200 in the coming 10 years also. So the numbers are staggering. It is a huge growth in the considering the statistics that we have today. And combining the growth that we have and the theme of the summit today, which is the skies of change, shaping a new futuristic aviation ecosystem, it is important for all of us to reflect on the transformative work that is being undertaken to boost the civil aviation sector in India. And the skies are indeed changing today. And so is our approach to build a robust and future-ready aviation system. From expanding airport capacities and modernizing air navigation systems to supporting the growth of the air cargo industry and enhancing regional, domestic and international connectivity, our initiatives are designed to ensure that India's aviation sector not only keeps pace with the global advancements, but leads the way in shaping the future of air travel and logistics. The government has an ambitious vision to transform India into a global air cargo hub and a global aviation hub and MRO hub also in the coming future. I would like to especially mention about these two segments, which is the air cargo and MRO, because there is a lot of potential today. And many of them who are already aware and working in the civil aviation sector would see that whatever growth we are able to see in the last 10 years, the growth is because of the demand that the country is giving to us. but much of the potential is being utilized by other players across the world. Let it be the MRO, let it be the manufacturing, or let it be the air cargo, let it be the air travel, domestic air travel. Much of this is being utilized because we have not enhanced all the capacities. The holistic ecosystem development is still in the progress. So to achieve that, it is very important to look at these verticals in silos also and try to address the concerns which they have in these different sectors. And one of them is the MRO sector, which is very, very important for the kind of growth and for the kind of global leader, the position that we want to achieve in the future. If you talk about air cargo and logistics, India's air cargo sector is experiencing a transformatory boom. The numbers which speak for themselves, the total cargo handled increased steadily from 24.7 lakh metric tons in financial year 2020-21 to anticipated 33.6 lakh metric tons in financial year 23-24. And recognizing the potential of air cargo, we have embarked on development of dedicated air freight corridors, the implementation of digital processes like airway bill, and investments in the state-of-the-art cargo terminals. And our goal has always been to make India a global cargo hub by enhancing connectivity, reducing turnaround time, and improving efficiency. This is where I want the industry to think in the sense, how can we bring in advancements in kinds of technology and try to attach it with the air cargo existing systems so that we can give that kind of experience and the kind of advancement which is required by the customers today. And to further strengthen this sector, we established, from our side, we have established I-Class, which is the Airport Authority of India subsidiary, which is handling cargo logistics and allied services also. And the initiative was not just about developing a separate business, but it was about creating a robust network around civil aviation sector and to support and enhance the efficiency of air cargo, logistics and allied services across the country. And it has been doing very good. I-Class has finished 8 years and we have been looking at the numbers. If a company which is being owned by the AI can do such good work in terms of air cargo, I think the sky is the limit for private players who can come in and bring in much more huge potential into this network today. And the USA's, if you look at the USA's air cargo market, it is being driven by time-sensitive shipments, which is also an advantage that our country also has, but it's not looked upon in that manner. With well-established air cargo lanes connectivity to key markets in Asia, Europe, and the South America, whereas in India, with a hub like Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore, we can serve them not only as air travel hubs, but also as air cargo hubs also. So how do we enhance the potential that we have and seize on the opportunities that we have and create these other cities as air cargo hubs is something where the industry also can pitch in and offer their view and trying to develop these as their networks. And I felt that one of the important advantages that we have today in terms of air cargo, I don't know how much it is happening in the market today, is Honorable Prime Minister has come out with this strategy of developing one product per district. And it is a very unique product across the country where you are going to find it in that very district itself, where it has an advantage for being made or produced or generated in that district. And if you can connect these kind of products, and some of these products also have geographical indication, GI tag also they have. So if you can connect these kind of products not only with the domestic market across the country, but to international market. Many of these products are time sensitive products. Many of them are perishable goods. When you have these kind of goods, when you want to connect them to the global industry, the only platform that you will have is the air cargo itself. If you talk about domestic, we are facing a huge challenge right now because of the good work being done by our colleague, Senior Minister Nitin Gadkari ji. He is making transformatory efforts in road connectivity that everyone is trying to take the cargo by road today. They are finding it much more efficient, much more easier than years ahead. But we are facing that challenge right now. We have to create a system where the economics, we break the economics of providing efficient, affordable air cargo also, not only domestically, but internationally. So that is where it is not like competing with road travel or competing with air travel or all. The whole concept of Gati Shakti is utilizing the advantages of each sector and trying to bring everything together. The last mile connectivity can be the road sector. and the proper main core connectivity can be the air cargo, and to provide that efficiency and timing, this all sectors should work together, and we have to break the economics that is still pending in terms of air cargo sector. That is where the industry has to come in, come up with innovative solutions. We as the reforming people, we will help you out, we will help you bring in right policies, we will help you out in creating the right infrastructure, but people, we need people, more people to come in with innovative ideas, transforming this air cargo sector in the future. And also we have to think about, why don't we have freight carrier planes also so many? With the kind of population that we have today, we are still lagging behind on freight carriers. Most of the cargo that we are doing today is by belly cargo only. It obviously has its own challenges. Now we have to move into the idea of having our own freight corridors, freight carriers, at least between the metro cities domestically, so that there is a network already created in terms of air cargo. There is a system that is being handled. So that is where we want all the private people also to come in, to have these solutions in terms of technology or in terms of infrastructure. So this is where some more thought can be put in from the PhD also, and there we would like to involve in a discussion together. And air cargo, by working together for the infrastructure and optimizing the processes, we can pave the way for India to become a global leader. And also India is a strategically located place. So you have to use that also in kind of transshipment. So there are many advantages that the location itself gives us. So how can we integrate that also into the air cargo picture? These are some of the ideas that we can all discuss upon in the summit and arrive at some good conclusions which we can work forward together. And now moving on to the MRO sector. Much has been said by Piyushji also, but I'd like to say them some of the important points again. So MRO sector is another critical area that has witnessed significant growth. India has the potential to become an MRO hub, and we are taking decisive steps to move into that direction from the ministry by rationalizing taxes, providing incentives, and developing world-class infrastructure. We are encouraging both domestic and international players to invest in our local MRO industry. And some of the important policy announcements that have happened in that direction is the application of a uniform 5% GST for import parts, components, testing equipment, tools, toolkits of aircraft, irrespective of their HSN classification, which is going to be a revolutionary change in improving the MRO business in the whole country. And we have predicted that just by having this 5% import duty and the other changes that have been announced in the budget, which is the new MRO, the period which has been recently announced in the budget, this is also regarding the MRO sector, which is the period for export of goods imported for repairs has been extended from 6 months to 1 year. So when you bring an airplane, when you bring something to repair, you can keep it for a much longer time. What used to be 6 years has been 6 months has been extended up to 1 year now. And also the time limit for re-import of goods for repairs under warranty has been extended from 3 to 5 years. So when you do some MRO activity here and the plane goes outside, the warranty within 3 years, it used to end before, but now we have extended it for 5 years. So you have the time limit of 5 years to bring back the plane again and to service it again in the local MRO industry. And we have got new MRO guidelines which has abolished royalties and built-in transparent system for land allotments for MROs in Airport Authority of India airports. And also there is 100% foreign direct investment which is permitted via automatic route for the MRO industry. So with all these changes that we have brought in for the MRO industry, what is right now sitting at $2 billion USD market, right now we are expecting in the next 6 to 7 years to double itself and grow up to $4 billion industry just by making these small MRO changes. But we realize that there are a lot of challenges also in the MRO industry still existent. What is happening today, the 4 basic maintenance sectors, which is the line, base, component and engine, the most common one, line and base, is what is happening today. India is doing its own line and base up to the tune of 95% or more than, little more than that. But the major component, the major core activity of the engine maintenance and the component maintenance, this is all happening outside the country. So that is where the potential lies, and that is where we should target and try to achieve that the component maintenance and the engine maintenance should be brought back to this country. And for engine and component maintenance, which is roughly about 80% of the MRO sector, the industry needs to have stronger partnerships with the OEMs. But in the long run, as we build an Atmanirbhar Bharat, we need to collaboratively work to have our own OEMs with the ultimate goal of manufacturing planes in this country. And let me assure you to all the people here that we as a country are strongly moving towards building our own plane in the coming few years. As early as possible, we want to achieve this target. And for this, within the ministry, we have pushed some things forward where we want to create a special purpose vehicle, an SPV, where the ministry is going to include itself with the members of the industry and all the industry experts. They are all going to come together, sit together and work in the next 5 years on what are the challenges, where are the bottlenecks for us to create our own plane today, and we are going to address them on a highway manner. Whatever comes in that picture, then we are going to address them as they come, and we are trying to achieve this as soon as possible, that we have to manufacture our own plane here. And there are many advantages that come with manufacturing. With the whole point of component and the engine maintenance not happening here is because there is a feeling that you don't have the expertise here. There is a feeling that there is no skill here. Once you show the world that we can manufacture our own plane, we can handle our own plane, we can design our own plane, we can maintain our own plane, then there is going to be a confidence across the globe that if they are manufacturing a plane, they can do the component maintenance, they can do the engine maintenance also. So with that scope of work in mind, we are trying to enhance, we are trying to improvise on whatever the existing industry is offering and move everything collectively towards making our own plane in the future also. And secondly, while we lack in this component and engine MRO, the other challenge that we have seen is that the OEMs are not sharing the technical data with the Indian industry right now. The CMMs, the manuals, they are not fully cooperating in giving them to the existing MRO industry, again with the same challenge. Maybe there is not much skill, maybe the infrastructure is not enough, maybe the certifications is not enough, because everything that is there today, MROs and all, when you move into further important maintenance, you need classification from EASA. The Europeans are saying that this has to be classified so that I can get a plane here and do it. So I have instructed my officials that this shouldn't be the case. The Europeans should say that we should get a classification from DGCA so that we can service our planes here. That should be the movement that we have to make. We have to be the global leaders. All the technological innovation, all the brains that go into this, all the brains that are sitting in engineering and all, anywhere in the world, you are seeing that Indians are doing it. But we are not able to tap on the advantage that is being created. So we want to push with that attitude, with that mindset, that the Indian regulations or the Indian manufacturers or the Indian MROs, they should lead the way for the whole world. And that is the mindset that we have right now today. And with this wider objective, the government is actively introducing many reforms also. We are trying to see what all reforms can come in the future so that the MRO sector gets a real boost. And for me, considering I am from the political background also, one important problem that this whole thing, let it be air cargo, let it be the MRO sector, this important problem that is going to solve for me as a politician when I'm meeting people is the job situation in the country. Now, if you go and sit with the people, then the most important the request that we get is regarding the jobs. And unless we try to do something as a sector collectively to address that situation, it is going to be a very difficult task for us in the future also. We have the potential, we have the human resources, but we need to skill them in the right way. And today, because we are not offering the training institutions of skilling also, there are a lot of people who are going abroad, learning the skill and coming back and working here. Why can't we do the training here only? So this is another area where we have to see that different verticals within the aviation industry, what are the different skilling that is required? What are the skills that are being done in another country and then people are coming back? So those gaps that are being arised in the skilling, that has to be met with domestically only. We have to create those institutions where the skilling can also happen here, and not only for our domestic market. we can cater for the global market also. People can come here, have their skilling done, and probably go into some other aviation markets across the world and work there also. So that is another one that we have to address. And in terms of how do we achieve this whole building of our own airplane, another reform that we have brought in is the Bharatiya Vayan Videk, which we recently passed in the Lok Sabha. Now this Aircraft Act, which has been changed to the Bharatiya Vayan Videk, this talks about India as a country of state of design. Now to manufacture our own plane, to other people to take us seriously that we are doing something in this design area, it is important for us to give a legal backing to the word design. And that is what we have brought in through this new bill also. And it has been passed in Lok Sabha, and when we get the opportunity soon, we are going to pass it in Rajya Sabha, and we are improving our whole capability on not just saying that India is not, when it talks about aviation, it is not about flying people from one point to another point. It means serious business. It means about manufacturing planes. It means serious business in maintaining planes, the whole MRO sector, everything, air cargo, everything that comes into this. We are wanting to achieve the global status and the global leaders. That is where we want to be, and that is the idea with which the Bharatiya Vayan Videk has also been brought into the parliament. And after the announcement of National Aviation Policy in 2016, the number of MROs have increased to 147 from what used to be 114 before. And we see a more positive increase in the coming years also, but we have to move, like I said, in the right direction of doing that component and engine maintenance, how to address that situation. That is where we need to concentrate more on. And with consistently increasing, so whenever the industry has to do something, there has to be a confidence that it is going to survive or this market is going to support. Now we see that there are 1200 planes that are going to come. What bigger market than this? We have the highest number of orders. So anyone who is thinking, if I want to do an MRO, is the business going to help us out? Is the market there, demand there? Obviously it is there. There are 1200 more planes. So whoever is actively trying to pursue in this area should think confidently and should make very bold steps, consider the advantage that the market has today, and be that first mover into catering for those solutions today. So other than that, the strong talent pool and again the location that we have, India is well positioned to offer cost-effective and high-quality MRO services not only to our domestic fleet but also to international airlines. This will not only save valuable foreign exchange but also generate employment and skilling development opportunities within the country. And other reforms, so these are the two main sectors which I would say that in this summit you guys can discuss on, the industry can all discuss on, and try to give us a picture on what are the requirements or the challenges that you are facing in terms of reforms. We can try to address from that side. So that is why I won't really accept that when they say that the leader of civil aviation is here, I would say the partner of civil aviation is here for the industry. We want to partner with you guys. We want to take you guys into consideration and listen to you. The whole opinion that we want to give from the ministry is that we have our ears open. We are listening to you. We understand that you are the important people here. If civil aviation has to progress, the industry has to progress. So we are here to take in your inputs and make the right decisions in terms of policy in the coming days ahead. So I would request that once your summit has finished, you share the document with us, and then we can have a thorough discussion on it, on how the ministry can also actively involve themselves in try to address these challenges that are faced. Other than that, I'll just briefly summarize on some of the important things otherwise happening in civil aviation also, like it was mentioned before, the seaplanes, the guidelines. There was an attempt before also by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji to kick off the seaplanes activity in the country in a big way. But for some challenges that the industry still faced, it didn't happen the way it was envisioned before. So we have brought in a slight change in the guidelines. We again went back to the industry, we spoke to them, we heard their challenges, we made the necessary changes, we formulated new guidelines, and we have launched it a couple of weeks back. And now with these new guidelines, we are expecting a huge boost to the seaplane activity. Consider a small country like Maldives, and catering for only one sector, which is tourism sector. They are handling up to 108 planes, and they are one of the most successful seaplane network in the whole world. And with such a wide country, with so much opportunity and so much water bodies, with the coastline that is there, consider the amount of potential that we have as a seaplane strategy. So for that, the guidelines, we feel that it is going to help. We can also look into that sector on how to improve the seaplane aviation sector also. When you talk about planes, you talk about the whole economics that a plane brings into the country. It is the MRO, it is the cargo, it is the air travel, it is the airports, it's the connectivity. So many other things. When you talk about airport, you're talking about a mini city today. That is why all the states are after airports now. They're not just relying on just providing that connectivity. When they know there is an airport, they see the real estate change that happens. They see the whole other, the job creation that happens, the economic activity that happens. So that is the potential of civil aviation today. When you talk about one plane, you talk about changing a whole city together. So that thought process, we have brought in some changes to the seaplane guidelines, so which is going to help us giving a boost to the seaplane strategy also. And also RCS Udan, which is a very revolutionary scheme for connecting our hinterland airports, for connecting those unserved or underserved airports. For the last 10 years, we have this scheme running up till 2027, but we have observed with the huge success that the RCS Udan scheme has achieved, we want to extend it for another 10 years and see what all gaps have been there in the last 10 years, try to address it, revamp it and make it RCS 2.0 Udan for the next coming 10 years also. So that is one confidence we are giving from the ministry, that we are going to work on extending the Udan scheme also for the next coming 10 years, which is going to give a boost in improving the airport infrastructure. Right now we have 157, and in the plan of Viksit Bharat for 2047, we are planning to improve these 157 airports to up to 400 airports, including the waterdrome airports, including heliports and everything. We feel that India still has an opportunity to double the airports that are there today, and we are going to work on it. So there is a lot of demand and there is a lot of potential as a country for civil aviation in terms of infrastructure. So RCS is going to come into play. And out of these, the most interesting and exciting thing I've kept it for the last, which I want to share with you, is the drone technology. I feel for the last 20 years, drone technology has always been there, but the usage, the potential that drone technology has, it's still not explored to its fullest yet. And one example I can give: yesterday, I shouldn't be taking the credit for what's happening in Andhra today. The credit goes to Honorable Chief Minister there, Nara Chandrababu Naidu garu, who has always been a visionary and encouraging new technologies to come into play in terms of governance. So he was the one who picked up the idea of drones. And when we had huge floods, unimaginable floods in the city of Vijayawada, so he has seen that the drones has the capability of reaching to those houses which are otherwise blocked by the water. So he came up with the idea, because the drones come under Ministry of Civil Aviation. We had the opportunity to partner with them. We have brought in different companies to come together and bring all those drones, and now we have to the tune of 60-70 drones which are working in that city, trying to distribute food, milk, water, medical necessities and other things. They're doing surveillance on how much water is there in what area. And tomorrow, once the water recedes, we are going to move into using those drones for sanitation also. So much potential is there in just one test case. So how many other test cases do we have? How many other potentials do we have for drones? I think that is one sector which is a very promising sector, drones. We currently have banned the import of drones, so we are doing only local production. We have PLI scheme for drone production. So from the ministry, we are trying to encourage more and more of these drone related activities. But industry has to come forward and provide these innovative solutions and do a large scale innovation in this and try to attach themselves with these test cases. So that is one potential. And within the drones, we are talking about the smaller drones which can do these kind of activities. But the bigger drones, which are the vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, which are going to come into place in the next couple of years, I think that is also another exciting area that we should all look into as a civil aviation industry, is how these people, the eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff or landing vehicles, how when they come in, how it is going to change the whole landscape of civil aviation. I think that is another area that I'll leave room for discussion for future, but I'm just leaving you the thought that we should still think about drones and eVTOLs also. And other than that, in this summit, I would request that thoroughly you should discuss more on how to improve the air cargo sector and also the MRO sector. We have been doing some changes from our side, and Honorable Prime Minister has a grand vision for 2047. But in the Council of Ministers meeting he had recently, he has told that even if we have the grand vision, we have to have smaller targets also, smaller targets where we are having a target for 5 years, for 10 years. So my suggestion to the PhD today would be for the next 10 years to be one of the global leaders in air cargo and MRO industry. What are the industry suggestions for the next 10 years? What is the way forward? How should we all collectively move forward is something which you can all discuss and present to us as the ministry so that we can work towards achieving the goal of Viksit Bharat 2047. And with this, I personally thank all the PhD. I think it's one of the biggest bodies in the countries today where they are trying to gel the policy making and also the industry together and try to do good things for the country ahead. And we are very fortunate that in the civil aviation sector also PhD has been working thoroughly and doing this for the last 10 summits. And I was thinking that I just got charged as minister, and probably within a month or two they came and met me. And they have invited me for this. I was like, what will I have to say? I'm still learning things in civil aviation ministry. But then I thought that it's not me telling what we are doing. It's more like what you guys are doing, I should know here. So with that concept, I've come here and I've had a good learning here, listening to other dignitaries. And I feel that after the summit also, once you place in all your discussions and once the deliberations are done, there is going to be a lot of input for us. And I can assure you that from our side, we are committed on collectively moving forward. We are not an individual, we are a team. So we want to work with you. We want to collectively take this country forward and make it a global aviation sector in the future. And for that, we request all the support from all of you. And once again, thank you for inviting me and for making me the chief guest of this 10th edition of Civil Aviation Summit. And thank you once again to each and every one of you. Thank you.
So what a speech, what a enthusiastic and dynamic speech from a dynamic leader. Big round of applause for